Welcome to all you beautiful goddesses, queens, and princesses. I am Nina, and we're back with another video on how to raise your seduction game. So, in this video, we're going to speak about the feminine characteristics or feminine characters that you can embody to help you along on this journey. So, obviously, we speak a lot about how you look, how you present yourself to the world. That is very important because it obviously speaks before you before you say a word. People already make their own assumptions about who you are, and you kind of want to carry that on when people have an opportunity to have a conversation with you and get to know you, right? We've all met people that we thought were really good looking until they opened their mouth, and then, everything just went south. So you don't want that experience for someone that is trying to date you, somebody that is interested in you. You want to carry on that experience from when they met you, when they felt enchanted by you, and now they finally get to physically meet you and interact with you. What kind of character, what kind of qualities do you want to have in order to keep this person chasing, right? Because that's what you want. That's when men are at their best, when they're chasing, when they're trying to impress you, when they're trying to figure you out. So we want to get them there, and we want to be able to keep their attention. So I'm going to get into the characteristics in a minute, and obviously I can't exhaust all of them. So I'm just going to share the ones that I'm going to share today. And there are tons and tons of links or resources that you can go to get more information about, different feminine qualities. So I'm not going to exhaust them in this video, but I do want to say that sometimes when you start embodying these characteristics, some of them, and this is usually what I would advise, some of them are characteristics that you already have. Maybe you're just playing them up a little bit more than usual. That's a very good place to start, and we'll dive straight into that. But sometimes when you're doing things differently, you have what we will call imposter syndrome, where you feel like you're being a fake, you're being a phony. And this is very normal because your brain is wired to stay the same. So when it feels changes, it is, it sends off the same alert as danger would, right? Because change is unpredictable. We don't know what's going to come next. So if you do go through that while you're going through this process, it's perfectly normal. You just have to push through, okay? So with that being said, where do you even begin? Firstly, I think to even embody feminine qualities or feminine character or feminine characteristics, I think the very first place you need to start is with getting to know what kind of woman you are. You can do this in various ways. This obviously introspection is probably the biggest one, and this is something that you're going to be doing for the rest of your life anyway, right? Because we change, our environment changes, our responses to our environment change, and subsequently change who we are. So who you are today is not the same woman you were 10 years ago, ideally, and it's not the same woman you will be in 10 years time. So you have to bear that in mind. This is not a be all, end all. It doesn't mean if this is what you identify with today, that's what you have to be for the rest of your life. But if that is appropriate, or if it makes sense right now, then you embody it and you review it and see what kind of results you are getting from it. So introspection is a big one for me. And then there's lots of resources that you can go on online where you can read about different archetypes, I think that is very helpful. I think there's even quizzes that you can take and figure out which of your feminine characteristics are the strongest. And like I said, that is usually the best place to start because it's so much easier, right? You don't have to figure it out because you already have it going on. You just maybe need to tweak a few things or add a few things to it. So that would be point number one. Get to know yourself and get to also figure out what your archetype is when it comes to feminine qualities, and that would be a great starting point. Number two, when you have figured out what your archetype is, okay, let's kind of go through the different types. So, like I said, I don't have every single one. I know if you read The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, he does go into the different types for male and female. Very important. And like I said, there's lots of resources online, including quizzes that you can take. But some of the more obvious ones are, number one would be the lover. And I'm really going to simplify it and water it down because even within the lover, there are levels, there are levels. So, but we'll just call it the lover. And obviously, this one is the more sensual, the more creative aspect of your feminine character. She's the more seductive one in the sense of, physical attraction, seduction. That would be the lover, even so, somebody that would totally embody the lover would be somebody like Marilyn Monroe. Even the way that she spoke, it was very, lazy. You could imagine she was just laying in bed and she was just satisfied. That's kind of the energy that the lover gives off. So you have sensuality, creativity, natural seductress. So like I said, it just oozes out of you basically. Passion, arousal. So somebody that would be labeled as sexy, bombshell. That kind of archetype would be the lover archetype. Then you have the maiden, which is the virgin, Madonna, the pure one. She's naive, she's innocent, she's youthful, she's very vulnerable and very receptive and very impressionable and obviously sexually unawakened, right? So this is another characteristic that is very feminine. A lot of women either embody this or sometimes use it to kind of add that, vulnerability, which is very appealing to the masculine, right? So that would be the maiden. And like I said, there's various names and even various categories within one level. I'm just really simplifying it just for the sake of this video. And then you have the mother, which is the caretaker, the nurturer, the one that wants to make sure that everybody is comfortable, everybody's healthy. And they also provide a lot of spiritual sustenance. So she's the one who's going to pray for you. She's going to meditate with you. She's going to send you energy. She knows how to connect. She can feel when something's not okay. And she, works on another dimension. So that is the maternal, the mother instinct, right? Protective, find satisfaction in taking care of others, often neglects their own needs, right? And then there's the crone, which is, I think, a variation maybe of the mother, which is, the old, wiser, I don't want to say old like in a mean way, but maybe the wiser, more experienced woman who has basically seen life and she's hardly fazed by it all. She understands the cycles of life. She's very intuitive. She's very connected. and her wisdom is just beyond words, right? So she's not really going to use some of these other tactics that some of us younger women are going to use. She's got her own kind of tactics that she uses to get her way, right? So you have to kind of identify, and just because the crone has the wisdom of the ages doesn't mean it only applies to older women. Younger women can have an aspect of them that's very wise, very mature, has really great understanding of the world, and that can be something that can be super seductive to men as well, because it's so like wow, right? So you go into finding which one speaks more to you. That's step one. Study it, play it up, find your role models, who embodies it that you can emulate and kind of feel like you're connecting with that part of yourself. And then step two, to create your feminine character, is you want to add a second dimension. So if in step one you found that, okay, I'll use myself as an example for this. I find that my sensuality kind of goes before I even send it off. A lot of people find themselves very physically drawn to me, and that's something that I don't really do on purpose. It just happens, right? So I think I have a lot of siren, lover energy. Siren is another word for it. A lot of that characteristic, and a lot of people have told me this, right? So it's not something that I just sat and thought about. A lot of people have given me this feedback over years that, wow, you have this magnetic, pull. So that is something that is already in me. It's already pretty strong. So if I were to add another dimension, then I would have to kind of figure out, okay, so from the other archetypes, what other feels close to home besides, this main one that just stuck out. And then, this one takes a little bit more digging because it's not the most obvious one of your character traits. You really have to dig. It's not something that people are usually complimenting you on, but maybe it's something that you do unaware in certain situations. So, for example, if you have the motherly aspect to it, if you add that, maybe you are very nurturing. Maybe you do take very good care of other people and you put other people's needs first. That'd be such a beautiful contrast, because first here comes this bombshell, who walks in the place and heads are turning, and all of that kind of stuff. And the man is like, wow, he's blown away. And he approaches you. And as he gets to know you, there's little hints of maternal nourishment or nurturing that he starts to discover. And he sees that you're more than just a bombshell. Now he's intrigued, like, okay, this other side, like, is something that he never imagined someone looking like this could have. Now it's like you're so multidimensional to him. It's more intriguing. Do you see how that works? So if you're just a bombshell, then he's just like, oh, okay, that's exciting, and that's it, right? And we all know that kind of fizzles into nothingness, right? Because it's just like boom, and it's out. That's it. So, but as he's still intrigued by that, if he catches a hint of something else, something deeper, that's what draws a man in. That's what makes him want to get to know you better. Now, this is not going to give you necessarily like the best relationship or whatever. This is not relationship advice. This is dating advice. And I feel like these two are very different. Dating means you're meeting people, you're making an impression. Relationship means you're with that one person. Now, you can take a lot of my tips and use them in your relationships. That won't hurt at all. But I don't want people to think that if you take my advice, you're going to end up in a happily ever after relationship. But what I will guarantee you is that you are going to get a better response from men. Guaranteed. Okay? When you start putting the advice that I'm putting on videos into practice, men are going to start looking at you differently. They're going to start approaching you differently. They're going to start speaking to you differently. And they're going to have to step up, come correct, or, because they're going to feel and sense that, okay, this woman knows who she is. She's got it going on. And it's more than what most women, unfortunately, are doing in the dating sphere, right? So you have to put some effort into yourself, into your looks, into your character. So figure it out. Figure out what your other underlying characteristic is. This could also be a totally alter ego experience. In other words, if you are painfully shy, then maybe the maiden is your main predominant energy, right? Because you're very shy, you're very vulnerable, you're very naive, you really aren't worldly at all. So that would be like your main character that you lead with, right? But if people, get to know you, or, he gets to take you out on a date or whatever, if you come through dressed like a bombshell, honey, he's like, what? I got myself a little bad librarian. That's more exciting, right? So you have to have some depth, add some depth to your character. Now, you don't have to do something that you're not comfortable with, but like I said, if you can use this as your alter ego, kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but like your outlet, there you go. Your alter ego outlet. That would be a good place to start, because, you don't feel like you're doing it yourself. Somebody else is doing it, but you get to be close enough to be in on the action. Beyonce said for the longest time she had to step into her alter ego because she didn't believe that her, as Beyonce, could do that. In fact, she's the perfect example of the maiden and the siren. The maiden is who she really is, the part that us as fans don't really see. When she's off stage, when she's with family, with friends, she talks about how she was bullied in school and, how shy she really is. That's maiden energy, right? But when she steps on stage, Sasha Fierce, her alter ego, is a complete siren or a complete lover. Okay, siren is from Robert Greene's book. That's why I keep saying siren. Total switch. And that's one of the things that makes her so intriguing. It's like, how can somebody so bold and so sexy and so fierce be so shy and so down to earth and so simple, right? That's intriguing. That's what you need to work on when you're working on your feminine character. You need to be able to have that. If you think about Oprah, she came, I would say she used her maternal kind of archetype in the beginning to get her name out there. Of course, she worked really hard, but what I'm saying is the character that she led with was talk to me, which is a very maternal thing, comforting people when they're crying, making them laugh, surprising them, providing for them. Well, not providing in the sense like taken care of, but nurturing and giving. Oprah gave and gave and gave. She would give to a studio audience. She would give to, we all know, right? And then as time went on, she added like the crone sage energy, which is like that wisdom, the books that she came out with, her own network where she basically just sits and has these soulful wisdom, enlightening conversations. So adding that, she's there to comfort you, but then she'll also give you that wisdom, that sometimes hard truth that maybe you're not trying to hear. Okay, so that is also very intriguing because it feels authentic, you know? It doesn't feel like a cutout. It feels like when you go to her, she'll literally take in whatever it is that you're bringing and give you an authentic experience or authentic feedback. That's what we want. That's what people want. That's what people who want to date you want from you. Okay? So add that depth to your character. If you can add 3 or 4, other characteristics, you're primarily this, then you're a little bit of that, and then, you know, once in a while, a little bit of this will pop out. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. It's like Russian roulette. He doesn't know what he's going to get. And that keeps that man excited. Now, don't go overboard where it's like you've got 500 different personalities. That's not what we're trying to achieve here. But just have, sometimes it'll come out in the way that you dress. You'll dress like a lover, or you'll dress like a maiden, or you'll dress like a mother. Sometimes it'll come out in the way that you speak. Sometimes it'll come out in a certain thing that you say that really sticks in his mind. Sometimes it'll come out in your hobbies. Maybe in your hobbies you do, I don't know, whatever, to get your creativity flowing or to get your maiden energy flowing. There's just so many ways that you can embody and channel this energy into your life. But the bottom line is that you need to have some femininity within your character. And the easiest way to do this is find out what your predominant feminine character is, play that up, and then add some dimension to it. Okay, so that's the video. I hope it was helpful. Ladies, dating can sound like a lot of work. And I know a lot of ladies that I speak to, when we start having these conversations, it's like, do I have to do all of that? You don't have to. But I have found that the more effort you put into the dating experience, the more effort they will bring to the dating experience. They're having fun trying to figure out who you are, what are you going to say next, what are you thinking about, what are you going to show up dressed as, and they want to make it fun for you as well by taking you to nice places, buying you nice gifts, treating you really well, and wanting to spend time with you. And so the advice I'm giving is, ladies, if you feel you're unsatisfied and you don't know what you're doing wrong, getting dates, getting respectable dates, these are just the tips that have helped me that I do believe can help you. So let me know if they do help. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe, like the video if it makes sense to you, and share and all of that good stuff. Until I see you in the next video, stay healthy, take care of yourself, and stay feminine. Bye.